It's Cinemassacre's Monster Madness Godzilla-thon.
Honestly, I shouldn't even be giving this movie a review. It has no purpose on our Godzilla-thon because it's not a real Godzilla movie. But because it bears the name, I feel as if I have to address it. To date, this is the only Godzilla movie made outside of Japan, and it turned out to be a big mistake. Let's rewind back to 1993. Jurassic Park hit the scene, pushed the boundaries of special effects, and made dinosaurs awesome again. I remember reading a newspaper article at the time that TriStar acquired the rights from Toho to produce an American remake of Godzilla. I almost shit my pants. It was a dream come true. I wanted to see Godzilla's awesome force of destruction on the big screen, and maybe then people would take the King of the Monsters a little more seriously. Whenever I would tell people that I was into Godzilla, people would laugh at me. Guy in a rubber suit, bad dubbing, yeah, you know. I can understand why the mainstream moviegoers don't like foreign films. When it's dubbed, it's hard to take it seriously, but when it's subtitled, you have to read your way through the movie. Yeah, if I want to read, I'll get a friggin' book. Depends on the movie, but for something like this, I usually prefer dubbing because I'm lazy and I just want to watch a movie. Watch it, not read it. So, with that said, I had high hopes that the American Godzilla would overcome all those problems and gain wider recognition for one of the greatest monsters of all time. But through countless delays, I had to wait 5 years for this movie to see the light of day in 1998. But I got my fix with the Jurassic Park sequel, The Lost World. It was an average sequel, but the highlight was the final scene where the T-Rex goes on a rampage through the city. There's even a moment when Japanese tourists are running away saying, "I left Japan to get away from this." It was a great little tribute, but had I known that this was more honorable to Godzilla than the shit that we were going to see next. Finally, trailers started popping up which would show Godzilla's foot. This was our first sign that something was wrong. The foot looked like a T-Rex. Didn't we see that already? Isn't this supposed to be Godzilla? Then the marketing campaign picked up. You couldn't look anywhere without seeing advertisements, like a bus would drive by with a sign that says, "His foot is bigger than this bus." And there was the slogan, "Size does matter." There was even a music video by Puff Daddy and Jimmy Page, one of the most shocking musical collaborations ever. So all the hype definitely amplified the disappointment, but let's start talking about the movie. It stars Matthew Broderick as a scientist. The plot is nothing more than you'd expect, just a lot of shitty dialogue. But the main focus of what I want to talk about is Godzilla. Just look at him. It looks nothing like Godzilla, and I expected him to look different. I wanted him to look different. I'm all for updating the image of a classic monster and making him more realistic and kick-ass for today's standards. I knew it was going to be all CGI and no guy in a rubber suit. I expected that. But what we got was something that didn't even fit the requirements. None of Godzilla's trademark characteristics were incorporated. Does he breathe fire? No, not really. There's a couple moments when he sort of blows on cars and they explode. But it's not like the fire's really coming from his mouth. I don't know. And if size matters, why is he so much smaller and weaker than the real Godzilla? They actually kill him with missiles. Yeah, they shoot him down. That's it. Did they ever even see a Godzilla movie? The army is not supposed to kill him. The only thing that stands a chance against Godzilla is another giant monster. And that was another disappointment, that there's no rival for Godzilla to fight. Long before the film's release, I read an early script in which he fights a monster called the Griffin. Why they scrapped that, I have no idea. I even heard that it was originally supposed to be King Ghidorah. That would have been awesome if they did it right. There's also some weird thing about Godzilla laying eggs, which hatch into velociraptors. Yeah, seriously, it's just like the raptors from Jurassic Park. Clearly, this movie owed more to Jurassic Park than it did to Godzilla. There's also one egg left at the end, setting it up for a sequel that never happened, although there was an animated series which continued the story. It's funny to note that the mayor in New York City in the movie is named Ebert and his top advisor is Gene, an obvious nod to the critics Gene Siskel and Roger Ebert. Their basic consensus was, yeah, that's cool, but the movie still sucks. Now, listen, I'm not trying to jump on the bandwagon and hate on this movie like everyone else. I'm just putting the whole thing in retrospect. I was a big Godzilla fan, I was young, and I was disappointed. But it's been 10 years, and I've gotten over it. I've given the movie a second watch, and for what it is, it's not bad. I mean, it's not high-class entertainment. It's a monster movie. It's popcorn entertainment. I feel as if the same problem occurred with Independence Day. It was an entertaining movie, but a lot of people hated it, and I don't understand what they were expecting. It's about aliens that come down and blow shit up. That's it. If you wanted something more, like the meaning of life, you're not going to get it. But the problem with this movie is that they called it Godzilla. It was a chance to introduce the monster to Western audiences, but instead, they made something completely different that might as well have been a remake of The Beast from 20,000 Fathoms. It followed the basic idea of a giant reptilian creature, but it could have been almost anything. The name Godzilla was slapped on it just for marquee value. They were interested in the name and not the actual character. Two simple things. He breathes fire and he's indestructible. Some people have said, well, that was too unrealistic and they were trying to make a more serious approach with this one. But that's horse shit. That's like trying to make Spider-Man realistic and not allowing him to shoot web. It doesn't matter if it's realistic or not, that's a time-honored trademark of the character. Spider-Man shoots web, Godzilla shoots fire. This is not Godzilla. In fact, Toho officially renamed the monster Zilla. They even make a reference to it in the movie Godzilla, Mothra, and King Ghidorah Giant Monsters All Out Attack. Early in the film, when they're discussing the history of Godzilla, they mention that in 1998 a monster attacked New York City. The Americans think it was Godzilla, but it really wasn't. And later, in Godzilla Final Wars, there's a brief cameo where Zilla fights Godzilla and basically gets annihilated with one single blast of his nuclear breath. Too bad Zilla didn't have nuclear breath. Bottom line, Godzilla 1998 should officially be renamed Zilla. It's not worthy of God, it's just Zilla. And even that sounds too much like it.